We're rolling. I am extremely, extremely pleased to have had you finally on a podcast.
You've been inviting me for a long time. I must have been avoiding you.
You're a busy man. You're a busy man. Things to do. I always consider this to be just a little session that you can just quickly go into, have a 30-minute chat, and things that you've been doing on social media anyway, things that you've been revealing yourself, you've been adding value, you've been making yourself visible, all of that, and then this is just another step. But then,
Most of all, been having fun. I quite enjoy it. I love. If you look at most of my content, it's actually aimed around helping other brokers. A lot of
always brokers.
We do a lot of stuff for investors when I do podcasts with clients.
Yeah.
But if you look at most of the content that I do, it's always in a team meeting where the entire team is discussing problems, deals, this, that, the other, and then we record that content and we put it online because I love to help other brokers. I choose not to have a brokerage because I like to remain a one-man band, but I love to help others.
Let's talk about with social media when you started. I remember that. This was just as the world was coming out of COVID. You were around Royal Park.
That was before COVID.
That was before COVID.
Yeah. So I don't know when you started to follow me, but I was blessed with an opportunity to join a developer and take a project exclusive.
Yeah.
And that's when I wanted to raise the profile of that developer, which we did very well. And I started to do a lot of social media.
Yeah.
It was nice to see something refreshing and new online. Everyone's doing your usual pan around the EMAR office and the NAKIL office. This was a brand new product. No one had ever seen it before. Amazing finishes and this and that and the other. I mean, we would do an open house. There'd be 30, 40 people in the villa at any one time, and even had fights over booking units and things like that. I just thought it was engaging content and good to put online.
Just do me one quick favor, please, Darryll. Do you see that camera? Do you see that little shutter button right on top of it? That one, just tap it once. Yeah. Perfect.
Is that okay?
Yeah. I can't do anything about it. When I'm doing a podcast on my own, I just can't do anything about this. I've just got to get the person to press that.
I just don't want to break anything.
And if there's you won't. If somebody else is doing the podcast, then I'm the guy doing that. What I always found interesting is you literally broke in to the social media kind of space with you were doing like 15 stories a day, literally just talking about it, going through. But there's something I want to ask about that time. You obviously, with Royal Park, you obviously dealt with a lot of first-time buyers.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure, right? Before COVID and definitely after COVID. Compare those first-time buyers from 2.5 years ago, from 2 years ago, to the first-time buyers today. What's the trick? What's the damn trick they're missing? Because a bunch of people have been waiting to pull the trigger for, 3 years, 2 years, waiting. What are you saying to them? I'm not going to say what would you say to them. What are you saying to them?
What jumps into my head immediately is that first-time buyers in 2018, 2019 were choosing to purchase. First-time buyers in 2022, 2023 are being forced to purchase.
Very interesting.
There's a big difference between the two.
Delve more.
In 2018, 2019, the market was fairly stagnant. Rental prices were consistent. We'd been in a declining market for 7 years. Prices were reasonable, and people made a decision. Do we continue to rent, which many people did, or do we choose to purchase, which many other people chose to do? In today's market, renting isn't an option.
It's increasingly becoming not a great option. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, something that I've noticed is there's a lot of expats that have been living the dream. Jumeirah Park, nice 4-bedroom villa, private pool, 200,000 dirhams a year. Got the Range Rover and the Porsche on the drive, both on finance. They've saved nothing.
Mm.
All of a sudden, we're now in 2023, that same property's 400,000 dirhams, completely unaffordable for them. They're in the market to purchase, but they've got no money.
Right.
That's what I've seen that a lot.
So when you said in the current times people are being forced to purchase, I took it to mean that because everybody else is buying, oh my god, I don't want to miss out. So it's not that.
Financially being forced. The rent is completely unaffordable for the vast majority of anyone that's been in Dubai for, you know, a certain period of time. It hurts to pay
to maintain the lifestyle.
It hurts to pay 450,000 for the same villa you were living in 2 years ago for 200,000 or 180,000. That hurts. So you have to sit down and say to yourself, we should purchase now. Okay,
Yeah.
prices are a little bit high and interest rates are higher, but it's better than paying the current rent prices. That's what I mean by being forced to purchase. Have they saved a deposit over a certain period of time is another question altogether.
And you find that.
That's a no.
So what's the trick here? What are people supposed to do? Are people supposed to then dial down on the lifestyle, dial down on the expectation that they've created for themselves? I mean, this happened in Dubai Hills.
You find a solution, and the solution is very commonly to move further afield, to rent further afield. This is why JVC is on fire at the moment. It's because all your Emirates Living residents, all your renters in that type of area have, you know, looked at the situation. Can they afford a house? No. Do we want to double the rent? No. Because the landlords have given notice for everyone in Dubai.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the alternative? Let's go move to JVC. I mean, look at Accoya Oxygen. How many years have we been laughing about Accoya Oxygen?
I have nothing to do with buying property. I've been laughing about it.
I mean, but now, all of a sudden, it's the place to be. You can rent yourself a nice 5-bedroom villa up there for 100,000 dirhams or whatever it is, and it's now becoming the choice of many residents, which is so fascinating to watch. I had so many investors that bought units in there. What a mistake. Oh, we never should have bought this. Benefit of hindsight, bloody, bloody, blah. Now it's on fire.
And you're saying that you see this as a perfectly logical and sensible step, because you have to face reality at some point, your own reality. Everybody's in a different situation, and well, if you can't afford it, then move out. Yeah. It is available.
The other solution has been to go to family. Mum, Dad, this is the situation. Going to borrow 1 million dirhams. And they do, very commonly.
Yeah.
Family are saying, okay, well, you know, it is what it is. We don't want you to be in a bad situation. We've got, you know, inheritance that's due to you in years to come. Here it is now. So that's how other expats manage to purchase themselves a house.
Excellent. Repeat clients. You deal with a lot of them,
Yeah.
of course.
Oh, yeah.
How do you see...
Should have put that on silent.
That's all right. Big part of what you do is help help people build wealth, not just buy a house. And this is about building wealth over time. Real estate should be about building. You buy small, then you do it. 3 years later, you do something else with it. You sell it. How do you take... I don't want to use the word journey, but how do you take people... is this part of your first conversation with people? Do you encourage people to think long-term along these things? And, hey, maybe you're not... Accoya Oxygen, for example. it's on fire now. Let's say a year ago, if you were selling it to someone, they were probably hesitant because it wasn't their dream house,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But they're happy now. Probably will be happier in the short to medium term.
Yeah.
Is that part of your conversation when you're speaking to people that, hey, you've got to think about that? I saw a bit of video that you did where you were saying that you've got a couple of properties that don't give you what you wanted, but they're giving you something, and So is that something you say to?
I practice what I preach.
Right.
So I have a very long-term vision. I plan to retire one day. I plan to see those beautiful rent checks drop into my account every month.
Yeah.
I want to travel Europe during the summer, live in my house in Dubai in the winter, and not have to worry about money. So I've made the decision years ago, all of my commissions I put into property, and I live a modest life.
Mm.
My clients love that. And a lot of deals that I've done have been based on the fact that I've already bought a unit that I'm offering to the client.
You're invested
Win,
yourself.
lose or draw.
Skin in the game thing.
To win, lose or draw, I've put my money where my mouth is, and in my 23 years of experience of real estate, I think it's going to be a winner. They've not all been winners.
Yeah.
But most of them have. No risk, no reward. So the amount of my investors, or even end users, even you got to remember that I've been selling in exclusive projects for the last 6 years. They've not been available to the market, and I buy in every project. And I don't buy for the clients. I buy for myself because I believe in the product. And and clients have said, we've seen the products, we've seen the developer, Metrical Developments, we love it, and ultimately we decided to buy because you already had. Remember, these are off plan from, at the time, an unknown developer.
Yeah.
And all the promises they made, they delivered on, which was unheard of back in the day, 2019.
Oh, promises being delivered, except for maybe a couple of.
It was perfection.
Yeah.
Now, the joy of doing it, the joy of taking a product like that and delivering exactly what you say you will do, was the second project I took from them, Royal Park South in JVC. We hadn't even broken ground and had already sold all 45 units. Because everyone knew the reputation of the company. So it was easy for me.
How do you compare that to everyone knows the reputation of Ymar, big developers? I get it.
I don't want to go down that road.
Sure.
For me, the standouts in the market are the small boutique developers that are putting a lot of love, a lot of attention into their properties. I think in the last 5 years, there's been huge standout developers, Metrical Developments, Ellington, for example, Oxford's, is it Inam Developers?
Inam, yeah.
Yeah, amazing products.
They've got
far
4 buildings in JVC.
Far beyond the sort of finishings and design and quality that you get from the mass developers, in my opinion.
Are these developers that you named, are they working on a model where like one agency or one entity controls the entire sort of? No?
No, only Metrical Developments with the villas that I sell.
Yeah. You control who's renting it out. You work with your investors and then rent it out for them and manage the whole thing.
So it's funny you should say, we're family. We're friends. We're all family with Metrical. Even the investors are friends and family. It's a very close-knit group. And we were sat down with one of our Italian investors the other day. He's got a huge portfolio of properties. This was just yesterday we had this conversation. He said, guys, why is it that in my portfolio I've got 7 or 8 properties with Metrical achieving me 7%, 9%, 11%, 8%, and everything else doesn't even manage 4%? And that's what I love about the product that we offer. When it comes to market for rent, it rents way beyond market price because the supply is low and the demand is high.
Does that not make the developers go, oh, it's got the demand, let's have another one.
Absolutely.
Let's launch.
That's exactly what we did. We had a first project which was at Royal Park in Jumeirah Park.
Yeah.
Huge success. Won 8 international
That's a
property
small
awards.
community.
40 villas.
40 villas.
So it's super small. That's where I live now. It's an amazing property. Amazing. I've been there for 3 years now. The build construction is amazing. The main contractor's in-house with Metrical, so they can focus all their efforts on their own developments, which I believe is the only developer in Dubai that does that. Enormous success, lots of international property awards, lots of recognition. Took another piece of land in JVC, did exactly the same thing.
I want to talk about the 100% property thing. You call your Instagram 100% property.
Mm-hmm.
And I think at some stage it was 100% agent or 100% commission or something.
There's a couple of different social media accounts. One's for the company, which is probably 100% property.
Yeah.
Then there's another one which is Darryll 100%.
Darryll 100%. I really want to know the idea behind. I get it. I understand what's being said here. The premise being that agents, and obviously the overall, the macro idea being that you can make more money as an agent, which we'll get to. But for right now, that, hey, from a deal, you can make 100, or I don't know if it's close to 100% commission, which is something that gets a lot of attention, I'm sure. People look at that and say, because they're comparing what else they're getting, 60, 50, 40, or whatever.
You would think.
Just sure, yeah.
You would think, but it's not. Let me tell you about 100% property. I've done the brokerage. I've seen all my guys making enormous amounts of money. I love to see that. But one thing I did learn throughout that experience is there is no shame to be a broker. There is no shame to be a one-man band. And that's what I decided to be. But I needed a license.
Yeah.
Now, I have my exclusive projects, which is fine. Everything's done through the developer. But inevitably, I get resales, which I want to put through, have control with my own company. I don't have any interest in babysitting brokers. I focus 100% of all of my efforts on me, my family, and my deals. That's it. But I love to have people around the office. I'm a very sociable sort of person. I can't stand it when the office is empty. So when I was doing the trade license, I thought, you know what? People can join on 100% commission. They pay a retainer to the company, and they do whatever they do. And it's turned out to be a beautiful little business. It's not a money maker. That's one thing I've learned. I've had people approach me, you know, can we partner up with you? Can we come in? Let's get this up to 500 brokers. Let's do this and let's do that. Honestly, first of all, I expected to be inundated with brokers wanting to join the company. That hasn't happened.
Why do you think that hasn't? Because I would think that
mindset. I'll tell you what it is. I mean, in my mind says if you are a broker in Dubai, you've been here for more than 5 years, you know how to put deals together, you know, no problem whatsoever. You're out of your mind if you just don't, you know, you're out of your mind if you continue to work for a brokerage. That's my opinion. Because you can set up a license, you can put your property finder ads live, get out there, do your deals, and make all of the commission back.
Right.
The difference is with us, if you joined us, then you've got brokers working around you. We can all chat and have a good time in the office, ask each other for
cross-selling,
advice.
whatnot, yeah.
Because the soul-destroying thing about working on your own is you're working on your own.
Yeah.
So the first thing I expected to be inundated with brokers wanting to join. That didn't happen. I'm not bothered. It's not a money maker. I knew that from day one.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? Can't remember. The brokers that have joined us, it's one extreme to the other. Brokers call me. They desperately want to join, but I turn them away. because I don't believe they're going to make any money. You know, they're in a brokerage, they're getting leads, they're getting mentoring, they're getting training, and they're not making money. How do you expect to come and join us when you get nothing whatsoever and make money? So we turn away almost everyone that comes to us now. The brokers that are with us are killers. Killers.
So it's not. So this situation is not for fresh agents.
Oh no, it's not fair on them.
Yeah, I like it.
I can take their membership every month and watch them make no money.
Yeah,
But I'm not that guy.
yeah.
I had a girl join me. I said to her, "Do not join this company." She said, "Please, I beg you, I promise, you're wrong. I'll make money." 6 months, she made nothing. She gave me all the checks for her membership fees. I just gave them back to her.
Yeah.
You know.
Can brokers work without that support? Can brokers work without that support system, that support network of? I get the
5% of the market can. 5% of the market can. 95 can't.
because there's property finder, there's listings, there's photographs, there's all sorts of things. Somebody has to write the write-up for the listings to appear up higher, blah blah blah.
Well, for me, it's a piece of cake. You know, I set up the license. Okay, I need a listing, no problem. I go take my photos, come back to the office, do my write-up.
You go take your photos,
Yeah,
come back to
absolutely,
the office.
absolutely.
To this day,
Yeah,
love it. I would not have expected that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a marketing guy in the office who
Yeah.
helps me out
Yeah.
because, again, I don't want to be spending too much time doing admin and stuff like
Yeah.
that. I need to be out meeting clients and doing deals. And yeah, so 100% property, anyone that opens a brokerage offering 100% commission, it's not a money maker. It's just not.
For them anyway. Yeah.
It's just not a money maker. For me, it was never meant to be a money maker. It was there for two reasons. One, for me to have a great time at work every day around other brokers who are at the same sort of level as I am.
Yeah.
Have I achieved that? Yes. Some of these brokers, it's obscene the amount of money they're making at the moment, especially the Russian Ukrainian agents. Ugh. The money I'm transferring to them at the end of every month, and I'm so happy for them. I'm so happy.
Yeah.
And let me tell you what else I love. I love the trust they have in me. They'll have 2 million dirhams commission drop into the company account on the 5th of the month. They know they get paid at the end.
Okay.
Could I run away with that money? Of course I could. Could I do this? Could I do that? Could I do the other? They don't even message me to let me know it's there. I know it's there. They don't even message me at the end of the month when payday is. I love the trust aspect of it, which is hard to come by in Dubai.
How did you build that? Just basically by doing things right?
I don't know. They know I'm doing business. They know I don't need the money.
Yeah.
I think, probably, maybe. That's
I like
what
that.
it is. You know? If I was stone cold broke, homeless, about to leave Dubai, would I steal it? No. It's just it's not the way I do things.
So they see, like you said, they see you doing the business. They're probably thinking, well, he doesn't need our 100,000 dirhams or 200,000 dirhams, 500,000, but he's doing all right.
Yeah.
So he's
We're
probably
talking millions.
a million. Oh, there we
Yeah.
go.
I bet you're going to bring up Broker Blocker next, aren't you?
I don't. What is it? Broker block?
Broker Blocker.
What is broker blocker?
I was sat in my office. I was employed by Smith & Kem Real Estate. First job I ever had in Dubai,
Yeah.
2011.
Okay. I was a
And
broker
we-
then, yeah.
Yeah, and we were given these owners lists. Call. That's all we did. All of us.
By the way, so is the secondary market or is this secondary market? 2011 secondary market was going up. So
Yes.
right, so it's
Yeah.
secondary market. List means people who have interacted with the company in the past, or is it a fresh list?
I think we all know what the list is.
Okay. Because there's the database. Because I love getting into the whole cold call
Okay.
conversation. How do we change that conversation to not have it being called a cold call? People who've interacted with the company before in some way or
Yeah.
another, It's a warm call. You as an agent on day one of your job, it's a cold approach from you.
Yeah.
You're calling someone for the first time, but they're not speaking to your agency for the first time.
Yeah.
Somebody has
That's
something's happened
a
before.
stone cold call.
That's a stone cold call.
Yeah. If it's from a database
Yeah.
that's nothing to do with the company, and the client's never interacted with the company
That's
before,
a cold call.
then that's a cold call. But you know, back in the day, you did a lot of business from it. So anyway, I was sat there.
The reason they do a lot of business is because these people,
You're opening opportunities for yourself.
for them, there are people who need those calls.
There are.
I think most people, okay.
But when you receive 10, 15 calls a week,
Yeah, I mean,
that's when it becomes, I don't want these calls
yeah,
anymore.
of course.
Which everyone knows is a problem in Dubai, cold calling.
So you were sat.
So I'm sat at my desk. I can't help my entrepreneurial spirit thinking, where can I make my next buck from? I thought, if someone was to build something that would block these calls, because every other call I'm being told to F off. If someone was to build something, a platform that blocks these calls, they'd make a fortune.
Okay.
So I built that platform.
Wow. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay. That's what it's called. The what? Caller blocker.
Broker blocker.
Okay.
So it turns out it's not the moneymaker I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Hey ho, I'm still pleased I did it. Initially, oh man, the journey of building this app. First app, I was trying to look for good value app to build. Went on Fiverr.com, got scammed by some Nigerian company who took all my money, disappeared. That was 1 year wasted, 6 months wasted. Second time round, got an Indian company, genuine company this time, to build the app, paid a lot more money, and they went under during COVID. So now I'm like 2 years into building this app, and the first two companies I've got absolutely nowhere. So I'm really sticking with it. Cut a long story short, got a third company on board, did a great job. I bought an in-house app design team. They finished it off. The app is brilliant. Now, how much money do I charge people for this? We charge, right now it's free. We've just left it completely open, completely free of charge. We just want to help everybody now. We charged 500 dirhams for a year membership, or monthly was 50, if I remember rightly.
Yeah. Okay.
Most people said it was too expensive, which I know we spent a lot of money building it in the first place. Other people, even now, it's actually free to use the app. You get a free trial period, but there's still the payment options there. People still pay 500 now.
Yeah.
In fact, we get more 500 dirham subscriptions than we do monthly.
Yeah, because there's a lot of people who do get a lot of these calls.
The way it works is we started by trying to use the available databases of, and this isn't real estate brokers. We're talking finance brokers, marketing, insurance, everything. So we tried to get all the databases for it, and wasn't particularly successful, to be honest. It's now based on a community, what's the word I'm looking for? Crowd contributing. So anytime anyone gets a spam call, they mark it as spam, it goes into our database, and it's shared amongst all the owners.
Okay.
I get a lot.
So if somebody living in, I don't know, Jumeirah Islands gets a call, and they're signed up to your network, they send it to you?
70-80%, we block the call in the first place. They never receive it. If they do, they block it themselves in the app.
Right.
And then it's shared amongst all of the other members. And it's a great app. Is it a moneymaker? No. So that's why we've left it live, we've left it free, and just shelved it.
So what are agents supposed to do? What are agents supposed to do now?
Well, this is great for agents. How many agents have been fined in the last year or two.
I get it. Yeah.
50 grand
Plen-
for 50 grand a
Plenty.
piece.
Plenty.
So
A lot of that going on.
all the guys that report the brokers to DLD, they're all members. So they don't get the calls in the first place anymore. That's why you've seen in the last year, since it's been live, I don't think there's been one fine issue to a real estate brokerage in Dubai. That's because the guys that are getting all the phone calls aren't getting them anymore. So it protects brokerages. Anyone that does want to receive the calls, and there's many people that do, they want to know what the market's doing, what the rental prices are doing, what's the market price of the properties they own. They don't sign up. They receive the calls, they're happy to talk to the agents. You know, that's why we're seeing 0 fines anymore.
Fines are there. I know companies
A
go
couple of years ago, there were a handful of 50 grand fines handed out. But since the app's been live, I don't think there's been one.
So in this day and age, I get it that cold calling isn't what agents need to be doing. There are options. What are you telling people that are in your sphere of influence? You're probably obviously not telling them to do cold calls. You figure out a different way. What are you saying to agents who've been in the market 3 years? Cold calling has been part of how they built it, how the build got to the point where they are.
Cold calling will always happen. It will always happen. You know, people that have been in the market 3 years, they've built a small network. But the bottom line is that if they need stock, especially in today's market, it's very difficult to find well-priced stock. So
Correctly priced stock, yeah.
Yeah, very difficult to find. How can you find stock? Go out and knock on doors? No one's going to do that. Go through the CRM of your company? Yeah, there'll be some owners on there. Or cold call all the owners and you'll get units for sale.
Or you have numbers, you have emails. Why don't you every single week create a little 1-minute video, give a detail of what sold, what you sold, what somebody else sold, but it sold at this price, blah, blah, blah. Put that statistic or that information in a 1.5-minute video. It's not that difficult. Email it out to your database. It's a very non-intrusive kind of a little situation. Hey, here I am giving you some information. Instead of bombarding them with, look what I have to sell, look how, these many buyers, and then, are you interested? Go with a bit of value.
It's funny
first.
You should say this, because this is exactly what I told my team to do about a week ago. I said, put together information which is valuable to the target market that you're aiming towards. Let's say you're looking for a seller of a Sidra villa in Dubai Hills. You call them up, you're just another agent, blah-de-blah-de-blah.
You can't differentiate yourself on the phone.
Yeah. You send them a 1-minute video going through the last 10 transactions of their property type and the last 10 rental transactions. They're going to watch it and they're going to remember you. It's exactly what I told my team to do about a week ago. But you've got to remember, let's say there's phase 1 Sidra, for example, there's about 1,500 villas. They don't have the information for all that 1,500 villas unless they use a database which is cold.
Yeah.
And therefore it is still cold calling effectively. But just with value.
But real estate agents aren't really interested in giving that value up front because too busy selling. And I get it. I just think,
you should find the time to do these things. In Dubai, how many agents are there now?
Oh, it keeps changing. What is it?
60,000? Was it something crazy?
I was thinking 25.
I can't remember. Too
many.
many.
I don't know.
Too many. You've got to do something different to every single other agent out there. You've got to do something different. You've got to be dynamic. You've got to be creative. You've got to think outside the box. You've got to do something different. and that will help you succeed in the real estate market.
At the end of every call, tell them that, hey, connect with me on LinkedIn or my Instagram, because every week I post a little weekly update of what sold, what not. And I think, because we were just talking about Jumeirah Gulf Estates, I think you and I do that. I think you'll find a good bit of value there.
Yeah.
You say that to 70 people in a month, 14 of them will go and check out your videos.
Yeah.
And these are people that you've actually had a good conversation with.
Yeah. The key, it's all well and good making a call and connecting with somebody, getting some information one way or another, then putting that phone down. The key is to get them connected to your socials.
Yeah.
Because then every single day, without fail, they're going to see your face in Jumeirah Islands, selling, renting property. They're going to know your name. They're going to know
Oh, I
your
see
car.
you everywhere.
They're going to know everything. That's the key. Every single call I ever made in my career, I mean, we're going back 10, 11, 12 years. If I made a call and it was a successful call, the very first thing I would do is send them a WhatsApp. At the time, it was a BlackBerry message.
Yeah.
We're going back now. Asking them to connect to my socials, because I would see that they were, from that day on, they start to watch my videos. I've got people 8 years later who call me, oh, Darryll, we dealt way back. Follow your Instagram, follow your Facebook. I've got something to sell now, or looking to buy this.
Funny how that works.
I know, right? But that's the key. You've got to, you need to connect with these people every single day in the most efficient way possible. And that's to do it through your socials, but make sure that they follow you.
What's your strategy of doing it? Strategy or thought process or motivation or...
My motivation, look, I'm extremely blessed to be in the position that I am with the exclusivity that I have in my opinion, the best real estate projects in Dubai. So I'm completely different to most salespeople out there.
No, but you still have to reach people, right? Who don't know that this is the best project, who don't know that it's location-wise, it's amazing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that you're yet to reach out to who have no idea who you are, what you offer, what Royal Park offers. Or
it's very unique because I meet people. These people are not with any other broker for the product that I'm offering, which is amazing from my point of view. A lot of these people, I don't even ask them to follow my socials or anything. To be honest, we become friends a lot of the time. If they buy, we become friends. What motivates me is to help other brokers. That's what motivates me. I like to do my training sessions with my team. I like to record the training sessions. I think the information that we discuss is extremely helpful for any broker out there. That it will help them all the way through their career if they listen to the situations that the team have and the solutions that we come up with, which we then record and put onto our socials.
And I've found it to be very unfiltered and free and free-flowing, and you say what you say. I mean, I say that too. Things that you say to clients on the phone, the problems that you solve on the phone, that's your content for social media. Because in that moment, there's just one person whose problem is being solved. But guess what? There's 7 other people who have the same issue.
Listen, I don't think there's been a smooth real estate deal in the history of Dubai real estate.
Right.
There hasn't. There's always something. Could be something small. Could be something huge. If everyone, let me rephrase, everyone's not going to share that information. It's difficult to. But what motivates me is seeing younger brokers coming through. They listen and watch our socials. Some of them even join the company. Some that have been in the market a little bit longer. And it helps them. And I love that.
The reason you love that is because you know that the stuff that you're putting out could potentially help your competition or other people. But you don't care.
No.
You only care about the 13 people sitting in front of you. As long as they get it, as long as they find inspiration in it, you're happy.
No. The team, I'm happy to listen to everything. But when we put the content onto our socials, I love that there's a lot of brokers that watch our socials and take in the information and say that they had a similar deal and they didn't know how to handle it because this had happened or that had happened.
And this cracked the code.
But actually, what we recommended worked. Yes, I just look.
People don't feel like that. People don't feel like that's all I hear. I don't want to encourage my
I don't
competition.
care. I'm past worrying about who's going to take the information and use it for themselves and this and that. I don't care. I'm here to, stay current because that's important nowadays, and share information that I think is going to be valuable not only to my own team but to any broker working in the market.
I actually truly believe that because I saw those videos. I watch it and I go, "Well, I just learned something."
Yeah, there's stuff in there that's maybe going to lose us a deal one day, but it is what it is. I don't mind.
You were doing a bit of webinars as well at some stage.
Yeah, we were doing some webinars. Daniel Garofoli inspired me to do some webinars.
I was talking to him about webinars when he was on the podcast.
Because he inspired me to do these for some product that we were working on together.
Yeah.
Again, was I consistent with it? No. And he was. That's the honest answer. So yeah, we did some webinars. We had some people watching. We did some deals through it. But we weren't consistent with it. We didn't continue with it too long, which is probably the case with most people that do social media.
Yeah,
a lot of people drop out quite quickly, and that's an example of that. We didn't either.
What did you want to bring up? You was talking about earlier about starting your own agency. I'm sure there's a lot of agents now in this market who've done well in the last couple of years.
Oh yeah.
And they're like, gotta start my own thing. Maybe they're dissatisfied with the level of service or the level of leads and all of protection.
We were talking earlier about social media not being productive. If you remember, and you were interested in that one. Yeah,
really interested in that.
Being a real estate broker in Dubai takes 110% effort. It takes 110% effort in terms of focusing on your pipeline, your buyers, your sellers, your deals. It's a full-time job. Now, going back many, many, many years, I had a guy in the office, and he was very, very, very busy on his social media. Every single day on his social media for months and months and months. And he made nothing. He wasn't making any money whatsoever. And that's the problem with taking your focus away from everything that makes money,
What was he doing on it? Is this consumption or?
It was fairly engaging. It was pretty good. He was very consistent with it. We're going back 2013, 14. I can't remember what it was now.
But 13, 14, social media was a completely different landscape.
It was completely different. But the point with this is, if you take your focus away from what makes money, if you're already established, if you're already making money and you want to complement everything you're doing with social media, then that's the perfect way to get started with it. There's an enormous amount of people doing social media now. I bet 80% of them aren't making any money.
So you're saying get organized. Get organized 2 hours a day.
I'm saying stay focused on what makes money first.
But social media requires focus as well.
Absolutely.
It's not the easiest thing to... It's not a side thing.
This is my point. Social media requires an enormous amount of focus. Does social media... Would you put that up at the top of the list of things that make money? No.
It gets attention.
Oh, of course it does. Doing a viewing with a client, that would be way above putting together social media content. Right. Doing an MOU for a deal that you're close with, that's much more important than doing some content. Meeting a buyer or a seller to sign contracts, all of these things are way more important. Making sure that if you're using portals for lead generation, making sure that there's 10 things in front of social media before that make money, and that's what brokers should focus on until they're at a point where they're making consistent money. They've got a good network of buyers and sellers, and they have the free time to then start to focus on their social media.
And that's not what's happening. That's not happening in the way that it should be.
in my opinion, I think there's a lot of brokers that should focus on making money before being Insta famous.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this should never be about being Insta famous.
I bet for some it is.
It's wrong.
Yeah,
It's just
totally.
that's it.
Totally.
It is wrong. This
Yeah.
is not about being famous. This is about being visible, hopefully valuable. For that, you have to take your audience seriously. This is not social media isn't about us. You and I are having a conversation right now. Somebody is watching some dumb video of mine right now at 10 past 3 and hopefully saying, yeah, this guy makes sense. Yeah, I like him. But if that social media isn't there, then it's just you're my only audience. So for me to get to a point where someone looks at something of mine and says, yeah, this guy makes sense, when I'm ready, I'm definitely, this is the only guy I'm calling. Because I know that if I have a 10-minute conversation with him, he'll, even if I don't work with him, he'll teach me 13 things of what I can do. Which is exactly what how I am on my Instagram. So if you go with that mindset, then I feel you're not, and get a little organized every single day or twice a week, sit down for 2 hours, write a bunch of ideas, write a few scripts, use ChatGPT. Everything's available.
I know, right?
Use it. Right?
AI is taking over the world, right?
Is it?
Seems so.
I think it's helping us.
I agree. But other people seem to think it's taking over, and I'm interested to see where it goes.
I've not heard like an intelligent conversation about this. That's taking over the world. Jobs are going.
Yeah.
Jobs are going the way jobs have always been going when
Absolutely.
things change.
Yeah.
So I've not heard an amazing conversation where I go, yeah. You know? So the tools are available.
Yeah.
Use them, get organized, sit down, write a few scripts. Sunday afternoon, instead of going to the brunch, I shouldn't even be saying that because
Sunday,
that's not my place.
So what happens on a Sunday in Dubai?
What should happen is a lot of viewings.
Exactly.
Because people have their day off.
Exactly.
When I was a
no
broker,
social media stuff on a Sunday.
But brokers do have a lot of free time.
You ask my wife that. I don't have a minute. I think that, just to sort of give a summary on this, I think that all brokers should have visibility. They should be current. They should be known. But more importantly, before that, they should be making money. And then
I can't disagree with that.
And then complement what they're doing and the network they're building with their content, because they've now made some free time on whenever they want to do it. I was about to say when they get home from work. When I get home from work, I sit there. I look 7 o'clock. That's the time. Okay, all of my clients are sat on the sofa doing nothing. I'm going to call them all. So I see evenings as very valuable time to close deals.
Yeah.
So I would never do it at that time, but whenever.
But agents hesitate to make those calls at that time. I think, do agents overthink, what time should I be calling? What is the best time to call people?
Okay, so in my opinion, look, evenings and weekends. When are your clients not at work? Evenings and weekends. What is your client doing on a Wednesday night between 8 and 10? They're probably sitting on the sofa, watching television, relaxing, ready to take your call.
So this isn't about invasion of privacy, invasion of they might be with the kids.
This is a client you've taken on viewing, you're doing business with, you're looking for feedback from. It's not like you're invading his privacy in any way, shape or form. Call him at 2 o'clock on a Tuesday, he's in a meeting. Call him at 4 o'clock, he's in a car driving back from another. He's not taking your calls, he's not concentrating. People that buy in property, these are busy people, they're making money. And my strategy has always been catch them when they're free. So during the day, I would make barely any calls. I check my listings, take photos, do this, do that, do the other, even have some...
Do social media.
Do social media. Just have some chill time, because I know as soon as 7 o'clock comes, 8 o'clock comes, you ask my wife, every single night between 8 and 10, all I'm doing on my phone. Drives her mad.
I've not heard somebody kind of go directly about this and say, well, this is the time.
I have a campaign set every day at 8 o'clock that goes to every single one of my clients through my marketing team. Because I know at 8 o'clock every weekday, they're at home, chilling, kids are in bed, doing nothing. What response rate do I get from sending marketing at that time? Extremely high. What do I get from doing the same at 10 o'clock on a Monday morning? 0.
Last question, because I could do this for 3 hours, but
Me too, actually. I like this.
There is an argument that fresher agents, new agents coming into the Dubai market, it's easy for them to get interested in closing high-ticket deals. They see the glitz and glamour. They see the Palm Jumeirah deals. They see 280 million. Everybody wants a piece of that. I understand it. But in agencies, agents are cautioned against it. Hey, just don't. If you're starting out, you've got to go local. You've got to go smaller. Why do I have a feeling that you might disagree with that? Maybe I'm an idiot and that's why I feel that way, but
you think I would disagree with new brokers going out closing big deals?
No, smaller deals. You would say, hey, let them...
No.
What's your view? Like, I know that agencies try to tell their brokers, slow down.
You're a palm mansion buyer, okay? You make an inquiry into a brokerage, speak to a broker. Let's be honest, if they've only been in the market 6 months, they don't really know what they're talking about, okay? You speak to one of the big boys in the same area, they're going to blow him out the water immediately, okay? Because they've been selling on the palm for 10 years. You turn up for the viewing in your beautiful Bentley. He rocks up in his Mazda 2 in his ill-fitting suit, shows you around a property, doesn't really mention the key points that should be mentioned, doesn't mention anything about his history in the area, the properties he's sold, the sellers he's dealing with, the valuable advice. They're just going to get nowhere. All new agents should start with leasing.
Okay, love it.
They should come to Dubai, they should live in a maid's room, and they should graft 7 days a week, leasing. When their manager sees potential in them to move into sales, they should move into sales. They should join a brokerage with a team. They will join a team in downtown with 6 or 7 other brokers who they can split deals with, who they can learn from, who they can shadow for viewings. They'll make way more money doing that than I think it would be absolutely crazy for any new broker to come in and try and close a big deal. I'm sure 1 or 2 have. They got lucky. Seems like anyone can sell a mansion nowadays.
Certainly on social media, it seems like.
I was selling mansions in Dubai Hills back in... For years, everyone knew I sold the mansions in Dubai Hills. But I'd do 1 or 2 deals a year. And it is not good for your motivation. But then I was also doing off-plan at the same time. Everyone knew I was the off-plan guy. And I would do 7 deals a week 7 deals a month in off-plan, 8 deals a month in off-plan. And that keeps your motivation so high. You turn up for a launch, you've got a couple of clients, you do a couple of deals, that happens every week. Your motivation is sky high. You sit on a mansion listing for 6 months when you're living in a maid's room, hoping to sell the dream. Soul destroying. So any new broker, they should come in, they should earn their stripes and go up the ladder. That's what they should do.
This was an absolute pleasure.
I'd like to do it
I
again.
knew exactly how this was going to go, and I'm so glad I knew. Fucking amazing.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's the best thing ever. It's the best thing ever, because what I expected was just like what you said earlier. I don't know how it happens. It just does. That's just, you're saying something, and that's exactly what I was expecting. Nobody's trying to hack anything. We're just trying to do our best, and if it helps someone else, it just does. And
listen, if a new broker watches this video and he sees what we've discussed regarding what they should do as they start, and they do decide to listen to our advice and they become very successful, that would make my day.
you might get an email one day, hey, I saw, or they might come to you at an event and they're like, it's because, and I'm sure of course.
That would make my year.
Of course it would.
That would make my year.
Right?
Yeah.
They'd come to you and say, hey, I saw a video of yours. Like during this conversation, there's a couple of times I said that I saw a video of yours, then got me thinking, and then to try to do a good podcast with you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Somebody seeing you saying this thing about start with rentals, just forget about it.
Absolutely.
Forget about the whole thing. Start there, because that's where you graft. That's where you make the most relationships. That's where you learn how to make relationships.
Okay, so do you want me to tell you how I started in real estate?
That's what this is for.
Well, it wasn't rentals. I was told. Okay, so I'm a risk taker.
Yeah.
And I joined a company, Smith & Kem Real Estate.
Yeah.
They said to me, do you have £4,000 to come, £4,000 or £5,000 to come to Dubai? Of course I do. I didn't at all. They told me to come do rentals. I point blank refused. I did sales. At the time, there was 4 weeks of training, if I remember rightly, before you were allowed on the sales floor.
Wow, 4 weeks.
I think it was 4. I'm pretty sure it was 4, maybe 2 weeks. I can't remember. I stole a lead when the sales director came out at lunchtime to give a buyer lead to the marina team. There was no one there. I said, I'll take it. I took them to the only listing that I'd managed to find, which was a dump of a 1-bedroom in Marina Park in the marina.
Okay.
I sold it. It was a 19 grand fee with a 50 grand seller fee, 69,000 dirhams, and it was the fastest deal ever done in the company history from a new starter. That's what I'm like.
What were you thinking the day that happened? Were you thinking long term on that day, or were you thinking, okay,
I was
next?
desperate. I needed money. I needed money.
So it was like, okay, what's next? What's next thing?
What do I do to make money today? And it wasn't sitting in the training room.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I nicked the lead, went out, showed them the unit. The guy was it was a dream client. He literally had a bag of cash and said, I'll leave tomorrow, let's buy something. You know.
Are you a fan of the whole training process? And I just think it's not, in my view, of course, in my opinion, I don't run a real estate agency, but in my view, I think it's not done enough. As in, not in one go, but it kind of needs to be every month.
I'm 12 years into the business. I probably still need training on this and that and the other. In fact, the more you spend in the market, the more you forget the basics. Yeah, I would say.
Why is that?
You become set in your ways, the way that you do business, and there's sometimes some basics that you forget. Say qualification of clients. Back in the day, you'd be very detailed with your qualification. Now I'm a bit more slapdash with it, a bit more to the point. But training is critical for new brokers coming in. Training is critical. You should be learning every single day. And for me, the best way to learn is on the job. Join the company, do your training session in the room or whatever else. But as soon as 6 o'clock comes and all the downtown brokers in your team are heading out on their viewings, go join them. Just watch how they turn up for the viewing 15 minutes early. Watch how they turn all the lights on, put the toilet seats down, open all the doors, open the curtains, put the air con on, bit of perfume, a little bit of music. Watch how they let the client walk through the door first. Let them, watch how the broker interacts with the client, how they see that they've got an interest in the property, how they give a sense of urgency. Look how they, close the deal. You'll learn a million a million more things in a 20-minute viewing with another broker than you will in a classroom.
So true.
A good broker, I should say.
That's easy to find. That's easy to identify in a company because, the numbers are up there, everything's there.
Any young broker coming in that wants to be successful should stay away from anyone that's not making money. Simple as that. You should find yourself hanging around with the 3 millionaires, the 4 or 5 millionaires in the office. Simple as that. If that's the case, they're hanging around with 3, 4, 5 guys. They're not going to want to hang around with a newbie. But if he knuckles down and he starts to prove himself, starts to bring money in, starts to maybe offer them a little bit off, I've just got a unit for sale in your patch, they'll be like, you've got a unit in my patch, okay. Then you start to earn their respect. 3 years down the line, you'll be a millionaire as well. Stay away from anyone that does brunches. Stay away from anyone that parties. Stay away from anyone that's lazy. Knuckle down, join the big boys, and you do well.
It's a really good note to end this. Shake again.
Cheers, buddy.
Really good note. Love that. Just some direct talk is needed. And you could say it. You can do it because you've been on both sides. Done those things. Now you tell people those things. You've got enough to back it up. And it resonates with new agents. It will. Because there are certain realities in this job and you have to make that choice.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's hard, but yes, you shouldn't, the whole brunches thing or the whole drinks after work thing, these are distractions at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
These are absolute distractions.
I don't drink. Alcohol is a killer. When I was a young broker, and the whole office was partying or whatever else, you'd never see me out past midnight. Normally, I wouldn't even be out at night anyway, because my plan, back in the day, that's when we had a Friday, Saturday weekend.
Yeah.
My thing was a daytime thing. My chain of thought was, I want to go out. I'm single. I'm in Dubai. I've just got here. But I don't want to be feeling bad tomorrow because I want to be in the office at 9 o'clock. Even if it's an off day, Friday. So I'd go to a beach club. I'd have some drinks. I'd catch up with my friends. Not spend any money. Be fresh. Go home. Early night. I'd be in the office. There was always the same characters in the office. Friday, Saturday. Always the same characters. 7 or 8 people out of the 100 brokers. End of every week. Always the same characters. Top of the board. Simple as that. Week in, week out. Without fail.
I clap at the end, gleefully, at the end of every successful podcast.
I enjoyed that. That was a piece of cake.
It was really good.
Yeah.